I am so excited to dive into yet another epic Rebel Radio conversation with my new friend, Donna. Donna, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Cindy.
So tell us a little bit about who Donna is. What do you do and who are you in service to?
Um, well, my name is Donna Tashjian. That's how you say it. Everybody wonders how to say my last name. And I am the CEO and founder of Vibrant Living International, which is a nonprofit organization. And our passion is to help people rise above the pain and disappointments of life so that they can actually create the life they've always dreamed. Vibrant Living has a component that I really haven't seen a lot of places, and it is helping people develop their spiritual intelligence so that they can actually use the gifts that they innately possess in a way to be able to create the life they've always dreamed, and also working with the laws of the spirit.
I love that. Universal laws, my favorite topic. So good. So your organization works with people all around the world?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So good. So good. So what do you desire most for you in your life?
Making a difference is probably one of my primary passions. Is everyone that comes in contact with me, I believe I leave them better than before. So whatever that looks like, saying hi to someone in the grocery store, to more in-depth coaching, to this, that somehow I bring inspiration, encouragement, faith, hope to everyone I encounter.
I love that. And it's so true, right? Like we think, I'm just going to the grocery store to pick up groceries, but how we interact with the humans that we interact with at the grocery store makes such a huge difference. I always have this image of you throwing a rock into a lake and the ripple effect that goes out because of that.
I was at Costco the other day, and I never you go in for one thing and your cart is full. I don't know about anybody else. But I'm standing in front of the line and I look behind me and there's a guy with a box. He has a frozen pizza and one other thing. And I'm like, you want to go ahead of me? I'm like, I'm going to be a while. And he was like, oh, you made my day. It's just like, just smiling and being kind to each other. Kindness is so needed today. So.
Oh, yes, so much. And it's so simple, right? It's not a hard thing to do.
Right.
And I love that too, because he probably went home and because you made his day with such a simple act of kindness, that ripples out to his family, his children, his significant other. Like, oh, that's so powerful. I love it. We don't have to be, the big coaches, even though that works too.
Yes.
It's the little things that count.
Yeah.
So good. So good. So unity consciousness, I'm curious what that term means to you. What does unity mean to
you? Unity. Thinking about people that have a primary focus together, to me, brings unity. And they can look at that in different ways, but bringing about a primary goal and purpose together, to me, brings unity. If I could use an example of a family unit, everybody wants to be everybody's part of the family. Everybody loves each other, but they can come at it in different perspectives and ways to be able to have that kind of harmony.
I love that. Everybody gets to be their unique self within the unit, and everybody brings their gifts. Everybody belongs.
Right.
That's what we want for the world, right? Is for everybody to bring their unique gifts, and everybody belongs in the humanity unit. Yeah. So with your business, what kind of rituals or habits or routines do you have in place to support yourself as you impact the world and move your work out into the world?
Well, my morning routine consists of I love tea, so I always have a cup of tea and usually a candle. It has my devotional and prayer time is part of my morning routine. Um, some stillness time where I quiet myself and listen to my spirit, and then journaling and things like that. And then after that, I do exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is it just a morning routine, or do you have things throughout the day to help support you as well?
Uh, Depends on the day, in all honesty. Um,
Sometimes we need a little more love than other days,
I
right?
some days I will I mean, working at home, I'll take my dogs out for a walk.
Mhm.
Just getting out of the office and some fresh air is one of the things that I do. In those days that are I'm feeling really drained, I will sometimes cancel appointments or move things around and take a nap. So it just depends on what one of my coaches said to me. Okay, I am a recovered workaholic. I will I
Yep.
will admit that. Not any longer, but I do work hard. And it's because I have such passion. It doesn't always feel like work that
Yeah.
you forget. But one of my coaches said to me, Donna, what if the level of self-care that you did for yourself equaled the amount of influence and people you were able to touch or
Right.
money generated, whatever word you want to use? And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm
Yeah.
not doing very well in that component. And
Right. Yeah.
quite a few years back, putting those kind of protection or boundaries in place for myself so that taking care of myself is a priority.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I want to just continue on that thread just for a minute because, that what that coach said was so profound. It's because we're so of service. We want to be of
Yes.
impact. We want to create a better world. And we do that sometimes to the detriment of our own health and our own well being. And it's so important that we fill up our own cup first because that ripples out into the world too. If
Absolutely.
we're showing up for a speaking event or coaching and we're exhausted and worn out and burnt out, that's not helpful. Recovered workaholic here too. I get it.
And it's the same thing for being a wife and a mom and a teacher and an employee, and it's all of the things. Whatever we find ourselves doing, if I'm depleted, you're getting my leftovers. You're
Right?
getting my fumes as opposed to the best me.
Yeah.
So finding out what that is for each of us, and then there's different days it'll be different.
Yeah.
And giving yourself permission to know that it's not selfish, that it's actually bringing the best you can to the world, and it is vital.
Yes. Quote of the day right there. If I'm depleted, you're getting my leftovers. I love that so much. Another thing you touched on there too is that when you work hard, and I work hard too, and I know that many of my audience, they work hard, but there's that moment where it's inspired action, where it doesn't even feel like work
Yeah,
and time
exactly.
disappears and you look up, you're like, oh, what just happened? That's to me, that's like the play and the flow of life. And it doesn't drain you.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely.
So good. So, how do you see your business as an entrepreneur evolving as the world changes and everything that's going on in the world? How do you see that evolving for you?
um Well, it's gone a lot more virtual, being able to somehow when I founded this, I thought of, traveling international, and that still may be the case,
Mhm.
but we can impact so much more with today's technology in faster time. Because I don't need to travel for 2 days to get somewhere,
Yeah.
to be able to make an impact and do that. So using technology, um, I'm very interested in being able to use things, checking out and perhaps holding virtual conferences in the future. Um, I still love to do in-person things as well, but I'm a hugger.
Oh my
can't
gosh.
be, virtual hugs are not the same.
They're not the same. No, there's something to be said about human contact. And I know I've been to lots of live events, and the energy in the room is just palpable. You can feel it.
Yeah,
We can get a sense of that through virtual
but
tools,
it's
through
not the
Zoom,
same.
but it's not the same as like actually
No.
hugging a
So,
human.
so I'm seeing that there'll be both of that, but we've got to get through what's going on in the world right now before a lot of people are super comfortable
Yeah.
with that kind of thing as well. So, but using technology to answer your question in a simple way to be able to impact as many people as I can.
I love that. Take advantage of the tools that are available to you.
Absolutely.
So good. So as we evolve into, what's next with what's happening in the world, and as our businesses evolve and as we change and grow ourselves, I'm curious where you see maybe some old patterns of business entrepreneurs being released so that we can create a new story as entrepreneurs. Like, for example, a pattern of being a workaholic, right? Or a pattern of, the hustle and grind, or a pattern of maybe always traveling and not spending any time at home. So I'm curious where you see some of those pivots occurring for us as we evolve.
I think last year brought a lot more self-reflection than any previous year that I've experienced in talking with people. It also blaringly showed places of deficit, if you will,
Mhm.
of things that needed attention.
Yeah.
And learning to notice, because we were forced to slow down
Mhm.
and simplify to different degrees. And so learning what was really a priority, I think, was one of the things that we're going to notice in businesses going forward and in people's lives is what is actually important. It also brought a cherishment to me and the people I knew of relationships.
Mhm.
What if you didn't have forever with that person?
Yeah.
What if it brought a stark reality of life is fragile
Mhm.
and I need to tell you I love you today and that I appreciate you today, and not just assume that we always have forever and to make little memories. They don't have to be gigantic things, but
Mhm.
make them memories with people. That's one of the things I say when I wish people a happy birthday is make wonderful memories today. Make
Yeah.
some type of memory with people so that it isn't about the presents to me well, I still like them, but it's about the relationships and memories that you're making with the people that are important. And I think that's a shift across a board in every aspects that's happening with people.
Yeah, I think that's key, right? We're starting to understand what's most important, and the things that used to be important, the material things, the social medias and all of those things, they're not as important as that real human connection.
Right.
And I think that we're globally beginning to understand that, which is such a beautiful thing. I love it. So here at Rebel Radio, we also like to talk about the topic of wealth. And wealth is something that everybody's got a different definition. I always say this, some people want the mansion and the 52 cars, some people want a cabin in the woods. So I'm curious, what does wealth mean to you, especially as an entrepreneur?
Wealth means to me freedom to do what you want, and
Yeah.
whatever that
Mhm.
is. And to know that one of the biggest things I would like to, if you haven't already shared it, is let people know there really is no lack in the spirit. There is lack in my beliefs and what I can receive.
Yeah.
And so opening myself up to the possibility that there's more than I understood and quit trying to force it and to allow it. But this conversation that I'm touching on right now is a lot longer than the few minutes that we have today.
Right? Yeah, but I love that though, because it opens the mind up to what else could be possible, which I mean, I call myself a possibilitarian. I'm always asking that question, well, what if? Because our minds are so programmed to believe what we've been raised to believe or what
Yeah.
society has taught us. And there's always something else that we're not aware of. And so that curiosity allows us to open up to possibility.
You know, when I talked about my helping people with their spiritual intelligence, it's called, my program is called Life by Design, not by Default.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting life happen to me, that I actually have the power to design my own life. And I have an analogy that I share about abundance, which to me is similar to wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in the state of Michigan. And so most of us have seen the ocean. For me, there's Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Ontario. They're all around. So we have massive lakes that are similar to the ocean in that respect. And so I've said to people, that clients that I'm working with, so if I go up to Lake Michigan or the ocean, whatever you happen to visualize, and I take a teaspoon and I scoop it out and I put it, and I take that teaspoon of water, have I affected the level of Lake Michigan?
Mm.
And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, so take a bucket and I scoop out. Has it affected the level of the water? And they're like, no. And I go, well, what about a bathtub? I'm like, no. And so what about one of those trucks that take liquids, like the big milk trucks or fuel, and they pull all that water out. Did Michigan change? The lake change? And they're like, no. And I go, you can scoop from abundance and abundance will remain.
Yes. I love that analogy.
So there is really no lack. It's my ability to believe I can receive it. Yeah. And this sounds super easy, but it takes there's a lot more that I go into than what I can do to here today.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes some time. Absolutely. Yeah. Shifting our beliefs is something that, I think we all need to be working on. And I'm constantly working on myself every day, and like always questioning, is that actually true? What else could be true? I wonder what else. I love it. So what is one truth that you wish every entrepreneur knew?
That they were created. My podcast is You Were Designed for Greatness. That they were created with greatness, with a purpose, and that they are amazing and that they are loved. That's what I wish.
Right? That's such a good wish. I love that. So good. What's something that you've discovered about yourself along your entrepreneurial journey that has helped you to grow and to help you expand?
What I just said. that I'm loved, that I am enough is a really big one. I don't know, especially for the women that I coach, that is the number one thing, is I don't feel like I'm enough. And learning that, the way that I reframe that using coach lingo, if you will, is I'm only not enough if I'm trying to be Cindy.
Right? Yeah.
If I'm trying to be you, I'm going to be a very poor imitation of who you are, and vice versa.
Yeah. There's only one of me. There's only one of you.
I know. I can't not be enough of me as long as I'm truly being me. Yeah. It's when I try to be what mom wanted, or what so-and-so wanted, or who I thought I should be, the woulda, shoulda, couldas stuff. And that's when I feel unworthy, unwanted, unloved, all of the not enough feelings. Is when that is going on. So when we can deal with the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and actually just be you, even if you're a hot mess right now, you're enough, and where you are on your journey, just choosing, I call it, where am I on my map? So that where I am on my map and where I want to go, but I can't determine where I want to go if I don't really be honest with where I currently am, like where I am. So
yeah, we got to accept where we're at and be grateful for it, and then move forward. So good. So good. Donna, I want to thank you for being on the show today. It's been such a pleasure having you. And as always, we end the show with one last question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you dream of for the world?
I dream for the world that they would know that God loves them. That's what I dream. That's what I dream.
I love that. So good. Thank you, Donna, for being on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you.